Have you ever taken the last bus home late at night? The city lights blur past the window, the streets are empty, and you're just one of a few tired souls heading home. It's a familiar feeling for many of us. But what if one night that familiar bus wasn't so familiar at all? What if the driver was missing? This is the story of the Midnight Bus, a local legend that has chilled people to the bone for decades. It all started on a rainy autumn evening, just like any other. A young student, let's call him Alex, had stayed late at the university library to finish a paper. By the time he packed his bags, it was already past midnight. He hurried to the bus stop, hoping he hadn't missed the last ride home. The wind howled, and the rain was coming down hard. Just as he was about to give up and call a cab, he saw headlights cutting through the gloom. A bus, number 44, was pulling up. He breathed a sigh of relief. But as the bus doors hissed open, a cold dread washed over him. He stepped on, ready to pay his fare, and realized there was no one in the driver's seat. The driver's cabin was completely empty. Alex froze, his heart pounding in his chest. He looked back into the bus. It wasn't empty. In fact, it was nearly full. Every seat was occupied by people, men and women, all staring straight ahead. Their faces were pale and expressionless, their eyes blank and unfocused. What was even stranger was that their clothes were soaking wet, as if they had just been pulled from a river, even though the rain had only started an hour ago. Water dripped from their hair and jackets, forming little puddles on the floor. An eerie silence hung in the air, broken only by the hum of the engine and the rhythmic swish of the windshield wipers. No one spoke, no one moved. Alex wanted to scream, to run, but his feet felt like they were glued to the floor. The bus doors hissed shut behind him, trapping him inside. With a lurch, the bus pulled away from the curb and continued its journey into the night, all by itself. Alex, terrified, stumbled towards the back of the bus, the only empty space. He squeezed into a corner, trying to make himself as small as possible. He watched the silent passengers, their vacant stares fixed on the darkness outside. The bus moved smoothly, perfectly navigating turns and stopping at red lights as if guided by an expert hand. But there was no hand. There was no driver. He pulled out his phone, his fingers trembling, desperate to call for help. No signal, of course. The bus continued on its route, but it wasn't the usual route. It bypassed familiar streets and headed towards an old, forgotten part of town, down a winding road that led to the old river bridge. An old bridge that had been closed for years after a tragic accident. Suddenly, a memory sparked in Alex's mind. A story his grandfather used to tell him about a terrible bus crash on that very bridge, decades ago. A late-night bus, number 44, had skidded on a wet road during a storm and plunged into the river below. Everyone on board had drowned. His blood ran cold. Was he on that bus? Was he riding with ghosts? As the bus approached the collapsed bridge, Alex knew he had to get off. He scrambled to the emergency exit, his hands fumbling with the latch. The other passengers didn't even turn their heads. They just sat there, still and silent as the bus picked up speed, heading straight for the gaping hole where the bridge used to be. With a final, desperate shove, Alex threw the door open and leaped out, tumbling onto the wet, grassy shoulder of the road. He landed hard, scraping his hands and knees, but he didn't care. He scrambled to his feet and turned just in time to see the bus, number 44, drive straight off the edge of the broken bridge. It didn't crash. It didn't make a sound. It simply drove into the air, its headlights cutting through the misty night, and then it vanished, just disappeared into thin air. Alex stood there, shivering from more than just the cold rain, staring into the empty darkness where the bus had been. He was miles from home with no phone signal, but he was alive. He never forgot that night, the silent passengers with their wet clothes and empty eyes, or the phantom bus driving its final route over and over again. So, next time you're waiting for a late-night bus, take a good look at who's driving. You might just be waiting for the midnight bus. Thanks for watching. If you have a local legend or a spooky story you'd like me to share, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more chilling tales. Stay safe out there.